Hey guys, it's Retro Rose, and welcome back to Mushy Mondays, where we play a cute, cozy game, and we're going to continue our Life Now and Forever. I think where we left off, we were talking to Autumn, and Autumn introduced us to Miss Murray's son, and he asked him to run off and go get their other friend. We don't know his name yet. We're going to find out, so let's get into it. All your thinking was cut off by a shout from Autumn. Along with that, he punched his fist in the air to welcome his returning champion and the found prince. Yeah, you made it. Oh, Darren was his name. Darren and the boy he bought had given the impression of opposites when they first came in. What they had in common became clear when they smiled the very same way at the reunion. They both like the other one of them, and they both like Autumn. That's all that mattered. The two of them went straight to Autumn's side, Darren on his left and the other on his right. The formation of the trio was perfectly smooth. All of them were already aware of where they stood in the group. So this is my friend. He's cool as long as you tell him when he's being dumb. Oh my goodness. The boy had been the most collected person you've seen in town besides your teacher, and Autumn just called him dumb as soon as he got there. That was kind of incredible. But Autumn didn't mean it in a mean way, and the new arrival didn't even blink when Autumn said that. They were friends, and the insult expressed as such affection as the hug Autumn and Darren shared earlier. Baxter is your name? Oh, okay. Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Baxter. Baxter greeted you and Tamarack casually. It was effortless for him to say polite words, though they didn't come with a lot of meaning behind them. Darren was 12. And he was tall, taller than all of his friends, but you couldn't believe he wasn't that old until Autumn said so. Nobody needed to tell you Baxter was older than you. No one had told you, but you still do. More than any kind, Baxter reminded you of teenagers. Ones who thought they were smarter than not only anyone younger, but adults too. He had that kind of unquestionable confidence. Even the way he stood there looking more grown up than anyone else. That's right. Autumn put on his snotty voice again and did a curtsy to show his mock respect to whoever the boy was that he was about to introduce. He is Mr. Baxter Ward, the oldest one of all of us. Oh, that explains it. You knew it. Meanwhile, Autumn dropped the accent because he wasn't talking about Baxter anymore. And this is Miss Rose Smith and Miss Tamarack. Who am I? Didn't do anything or say, gave him a wave. Hi, it's okay if you call me Rose. I can do that. One corner of Baxter's mouth was already up. It had always been up, but he lifted the other end so that it could properly smile at you. Hi. Tamarack's normal bubbliness popped right after you said hello. Are you actually rich? Wow, she said it doubtfully with her hands on her hips and her face tilted intently. It added more to her wondering than what she had actually said. What would a rich person be doing there? Shouldn't he be doing something else? Something kids like you and her weren't doing? If you were rich, you'd probably be doing something better than meeting younger kids in regular school. Darren's face twisted in the center and tightened around the edges. He wanted to laugh and he wanted to stop himself from doing just that. Yes. Baxter said he was a rich kid, as plainly as if you asked him if it was Monday or if he had a hat on his head. He could prove it too. Baxter lives in a huge mansion high on the mountain. He does? He does. Maybe Baxter did do things more exciting than you thought. Having a huge mansion come up without him needing to say, so curved Baxter's smile more than it already has. He didn't have to brag. His house spoke for itself, or rather the house got Autumn to speak for it. And that was the best brag of them all. If you like the two of you, maybe you'll get to visit. If I like you. Autumn's word had shot up in a pitch and rang with humor. He threw his hands out in disbelief and had to be careful not to hit one of the multiple people hanging around him. Baxter, you showed it to anybody who'd come by. Autumn knocked Baxter's arm with his elbow. but that was on purpose, a friendly nudge to go along with the rest of his lighthearted jabbing. His smile beamed at Baxter, his eyes dancing over towards you and Tamarack. Autumn declared in his stuffiest voice a reply that was to Autumn a more accurate picture. Please come see my big cool house. Why would I even have it if no one was going to see it and think it's a big and cool? That's him. Autumn needed to pause to steady himself before he finished what he was talking about. But it really is a cool house. I would show it off if it was mine. Autumn had to be honest about his friends and himself, when it was flattering and when it wasn't, and ended his show generously. Baxter said nothing and he didn't laugh. He just guided his knuckles along the edge of his swooping bangs, and strands curved at the motion, then slips right back into their normal resting spots. His smirk didn't drop out of place either. With so much not being different, it was easy to tell that his cheeks turned pinker. Autumn had sort of made fun of Baxter, even if it was a joke. If Baxter was going to blush, you would have thought he was embarrassed because of the teasing. But no matter how you looked at it, nothing about the older kid's expression was shy or uncomfortable. He was as calm as ever, maybe even a little happier than before it happened. Anyway, Baxter's introduction was over. Autumn had decided. Now that everyone is here, I've got something very important to say. Though he said everybody, Autumn's attention was squarely on you and Tamarack. There was a pause for dramatic effect as Autumn smiled knowingly. Rose and Tamarack are hereby invite you to join our club. Oh, he did not like that. What? Darren shouted out like Autumn just announced he was getting married next week at 10 years old. Not so loud, please. That gentle scolding was way more startling than Darren's yelp. You'd forgotten Miss Murray was still at her desk. She was so quiet and so much like a teacher. She fit in as naturally in a classroom like the whiteboard or globe. Things that were there and should be there, but you didn't think about. While you got a reminder Baxter had never even known. Oh, hello, Miss Murray. Nice to see you, Baxter. Darren zipped his lips. He had to settle for silently punching his brows and pouting. Autumn, who was definitely the leader of the pack, wasn't going to let his words on this decision be questioned. He folded his arms in disapproval. First his mom, then his friend. Darren wasn't having the best moment. Autumn couldn't stay for long, though. Instead, he thought of his club and smiled. Me, Baxter, and Darren are a group. We all go around having fun. We're practically famous in this town. Yeah, me, you, and Baxter do. Quiet and firmly, not yelling, Darren pointed out the members again, as if he meant something. Those are girls. Darren's glance flicked to you and then to Tamarack for a single second. So it did mean something to him. After this whole time with Darren acting so weird with you and Tamarack, you heard why. He was a boy who didn't play with girls. It's a boys' club. He's such a child. Darren gestured around in a semicircle of kids to bring attention to the boyiness of the collection. How can we be boys' club if we're not all boys? He whined in a whisper. Even if you and Tamarack and Baxter were right there, Darren was trying to keep the conversation between him and Autumn alone. Unfortunately, it was Autumn he was talking to, and Autumn made extra efforts to include the two of you. He freely giggled at the problem he had been presented. Darren, your mom's a teacher. Guess what? Autumn gave a lidded look over his shoulder towards his possible new groupsmate. His dad, he's also a teacher at a different school. With a slow shake of his head, Autumn smugly chinned his friend. And you didn't even know problem solving. Listen, okay, I'm a boy and it's my club. That means it's a boys' club. What's the issue with that? He didn't even get an answer, though. Autumn didn't expect to. Darren could only gawk as if he'd been witnessed a magic trick. Autumn had taken the black heart card from Darren into his fingerless glove hand, and when he revealed it again, it transformed into a red king. You wondered if Autumn was a sorcerer of all things. a sorcerer all along, and he only said you were one to cover for himself. He had a way with words and with people. You and Tamarack being new, you and Tamarack being new there wasn't what gave Autumn an advantage. He was like that no matter what. Baxter chuckled and pleased audience members of the event, and then he shrugged with his hand in his pockets. I don't mind if they tag along, as long as they can keep up. Great. Baxter's agreement was given directly, and Autumn took Darren's acceptance of the idea as a sure thing, even if he hadn't exactly gotten there yet. He expected you and Tamarack to see it too, and put the choice in your hands. That was the only question. So, what do you think? No thanks, I don't want to. For all of Autumn's feats of conversation wizardry, it was equally amazing how simply Tamarack could defeat them simply by not taking an interest in saying so. That was actually the second time Autumn invited her to play with him and his friends. Yesterday she had said maybe, and today she said no. Darren suddenly frowned more. He never wanted her, but offended she didn't want him too. Baxter only smirked harder. He already had friends. Being turned away by a stranger didn't make a difference. Autumn was disappointed by Tamarack not considering it, and by his friends' unwelcoming attitudes. No one seemed to care like he cared, even when he tried his best to get everyone to get along. His expression was unhappy enough for Tamarack to realize with shock the impact she'd had. Thanks for inviting me. I like you, Autumn. I'm not sure I like those other kids. Two bewildered snorts and one laugh followed. That attempt to add comfort. Baxter was the one who laughed. Two? Oh. Why would anyone join Darren as a jerk? Rose has a point. Darren, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry he said that. Darren's gaze fell guiltily and he didn't finish whatever he was going to say. He may not have wanted you and Tamarack to join, but Autumn did. Being the reason it didn't work out was an intended betrayal of his friendship. Darren does not know how to talk to girls or how to act around them. I think the only ways he can say 10 words to are his mom and Tamarack's granny. Autumn tossed his hands up completely unapologetically. You thought of a phrase you heard your mom use before, don't shoot the messenger. I don't know, that's what I noticed, but it doesn't matter anyway. You can't live your life like this. You're a big kid, Darren. What if Tamarack and Rose look up to you because you're so much older and wiser? Are you even going to be able to say hi to them? I said hi, didn't I? You said hi to Rose, not to Tamarack. She greeted you. But she was too close, I know. How about you say hello right now? It's not too late. Yeah. Tamarack was instantly in for that idea. She glanced upward into Darren's eyes, grinning expectantly and swishing her shoulders side to side. Say hi. It was hard to tell if she didn't realize she was giving Darren a hard time. That is, was more to him than a normal hello, or if that it was the whole plan. But either way, Darren could do nothing except stare hard at Tamarack's soothing jig. Oh, he left. This is embarrassing. Yeah, it is for you. You can't treat girls like that just because they're girls. Darren groaned through clenched teeth. Autumn, Darren, and Tamarack, not one of them were budging. Until now, a low voice came from the area around Darren. It wasn't actually him, it was behind him. Hello, I think your scarf is so nice, Tamarack. Hello, Rose. You have such great glasses. What? Darren couldn't stay quiet for long. His mom had given up on reminding him. I hope you like my earmuffs too. Darren spun around in a flurry, but the perpetrator had already breezed back to Autumn's other side. Baxter stood there self-satisfied and silent like he had been the whole conversation. He may not have seen it with his own eyes, but Darren knew it was Baxter. He had a pretty distinct voice, and it wasn't as if anyone else could have done it. It was a pleasing answer to Tamarack's ears, no matter who said it. She giggled as she toyed with her nice scarf. Do you really think that? The real Darren turned away uncomfortable and with a face pinker than the accessory in question. You like my glasses? You asked earnestly. Let's see. I'm impressed, Aaron. You're a ventriloquist. That broke Baxter's the statue act, and he snorted a laugh. You guys. Autumn had lost hold of the situation. He viewed it from outside the same as he might have done while watching toddlers stumble around the playground. You know, I don't invite just anyone to the group. That reminder was meant for Darren. He sent an explanation. You're in Tamarac's way next. Before, it was me and Darren since we were babies, and then a couple of years ago there was Baxter. It's been only the three of us since then until right now. Yeah, it has been. So why do they have to be a part of the club? Good, you asked. Rose broke into my backyard accidentally. Oh my god, why are you bringing that up? Because they were on a crazy investigation about a paper airplane. They got here a day ago and they're already looking out for me. Normally, I'm the one doing that. Besides, Autumn tilted his cheek towards you, showing a cheeky smile. His eyes were sparkling. Rose is pretty. Aw. Darren's neck sprung up out of his collar, Jack-in-the-Box style. He was so stunned, it was lucky his head didn't totally fall off. And Tamarack was the one who made the paper airplane for strangers because it would be fun. What's not to like about that? Lastly, the three of us are all neighbors. It's gotta count for something. Even if it doesn't, what were you thinking we'd do? Run away with them when me and you and Baxter are all in a cul-de-sac? Try to make Tamarack and Rose leave their own street? No. We should be friends and hang out together. It makes no sense not to let them join the club. Autumn's debate speech rused Tamarack. Her fists were clenched and her expression was full of vigor. But you were sure she wasn't inspired to join the club. It strengthened your bond as neighbors and not only made her flimsy connection to Darren and Baxter more obvious. Darren wordlessly put extra space between him and the shaking girl. Baxter smiled at Autumn, supporting his friend while being totally indifferent to the results of effort. When it came to yourself, Autumn's description of why he thought you should be a member. It made me consider him. He was nice to you, and Autumn was right. If Darren and Baxter were going to come to the neighborhood where they lived a lot, it would be nice that they didn't try to avoid you. Autumn got the sense of his audience mixed reactions. Instead of a full house roaring with applause, it was more like seeing a almost empty theater with one person clapping in the back row. He worked with it. Well, they haven't been here long, and I know them better than you two guys know them. And the same goes for Rose and Tamarack. They know me better than either of you. It's different for me. I like all four of you. People can join later, and neither of you have to be official members to do stuff with us. I'm just letting you know what's up. A lot of things bothered Darren, and he showed it. Baxter so far took everything like it was nothing. Autumn went up and he went down, but always tried to get back up in the end. That was the boys' club. Autumn was still Autumn, and Darren wasn't nice. Darren didn't get it all. No, he's not cute because he's a jerk. Darren was terrible. Also, Baxter was kind of mysterious and it made you uncomfortable. But that was cool. It was nice learning about the whole club thing, even if you didn't want to be a member of it. The tap sound marked the end of the meeting. It made you think of a hammer hitting a podium in a very important office gathering. But it was actually Miss Murray as she straightened papers against her desk. Your teacher placed them down in a neat pile as she rose to her feet. It's time to go, everyone. I'm leaving, and I can't let you stay here alone. Am I giving anyone a ride here? Her gaze was squarely on Autumn and Baxter with that question. What would you like me to call your families? It was you and Tamarack who got a look with that one. The first kid was ready with an answer was Tamarack. She yelled out with no hesitation, I'm okay. Following after Tamarack, though definitely not talking to her, piped Darren. He and his friends already had plans, but he sheepishly looked at his mom for permission to go with it. Autumn and Baxter can come with us, can't they? Right off, she nodded, and her son smiled, relaxed. Miss Murray held up one finger and added a note before anyone got ahead of themselves. They can't stay all night. I need to take both of them home before dinner. All right. Thank you for letting us visit. Yeah, thanks. What about you, Rose? Um, I'm fine. That's good. Rose, come to my house. Tamarack pumped her arms like the dark blue carpet was water underfoot, and she needed to roll through the indoor pond. We can walk back together. On your own? No, together. And you can meet Omi and Opa when we get there. That would be cool. Yeah. Alright. Well, how about we finish packing now? Oh, they're so cute. On it. At your teacher's suggestion, gathering outdoor clothes, checking inside and under desks, and looking through bags to see if the most important possessions were still there, was all done. Not a single glove would be missing or one pencil out of place if Miss Murray could help it. The sound effects are so nice. During the final sweep of the room, there was an eager knock on the door. Who is this? Is that my mom? Miss Murray looked long-stride, reaching for the door far sooner than any of her students could. When she opened it, you saw your mom framed by a dozen colored papers, leaves taped around the frame. It was great. She could see your new teacher in the class and everything. Oh, she looks just like my mommy. Hi, I'm going to assume that you are Miss Murray. Yes, but Shannon is fine. Are you Mrs. Smith? Right as well. I'm Opal. Rose is my child. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming to pick up Rose. Your focus drifted away from their words as they kept going over what they already knew about each other and you. You didn't care about that, but Darren was even worse than you. He sighed at the boring, way too long adult greetings. Autumn snickered softly while giving Darren a small shove with his shoulder. It brought some liveliness back and got Darren to smile. Mom noticed a cluster of kids, then her eyes fell on you, and her conversation with the teacher stopped. Rose, I made it. Hello again. Autumn. Hi, Mom. Hi. Oh, he's so cute. She strolled further into the room to join you. Miss Murray stayed by the door. Who's the rest of the fun bunch? Mom asked, wondering glances across the faces of the three other kids there. Class was long over, and you were too close gathered for it to be random people who happened to be in the same place. Why'd you all come together? Was of great interest to your mom. Two of those people were Autumn's friends. One was your seatmate and your neighbor and your friend. And it was her, as usual, who first shot out replied. Tamarack never took too long to think about what she'd say. That's why she was always so far ahead of everyone with words. You're Rose's mom? Wow. You don't look like your mom. You'd be surprised. Some bits of me end up in there. I like looking like me, not like her. You stood taller, proud to be unique. Playful smile tugged at your mom's mouth. Tamarack felt inspired to have more curiosity satisfied. Do you look like your dad? Rose is like him in certain ways. Her smile dropped, but Mom had replied for the question ready before you even had fully heard it. But our family is me and them. It always has been. He won't come by to visit. She was telling Tamarack the truth. Tamarack wasn't going to see him. You hadn't even met him. What? You'd only been told stuff about him when you were younger. Mom said that his race and nationality were in hers too. So that way you could know your own history. What? We could do that? Oh, cool. We couldn't do that before. You were black. And nationality, American, and had American heritage. At that same time, your mom explained how having you in the first place worked. She didn't have a husband or boyfriend or anything, but she wanted a kid, so she had you. Mom talked about how you didn't need an entire other person to have a baby. You only took a small part. She was able to go get that from a special hospital. It was kind of confusing, but you were able to understand that whoever your dad was, he wasn't your parent. He was a guy your mom didn't know and you didn't know. You were happy with the life you got, but you did hope to see him somehow. You didn't care about him, but you were ready to change how other people thought of you. Yeah? Most kids had two parents, two grandparents, but you had a dad who wasn't there. And what if they were mean? Okay, sorry. Chronic Timerack pulled and pinched and pulled at her frayed edges of her sweater sleeve. One finger slipped through a tiny hole on the cuff. It was going to rip even more doing that. That might have been why it was torn in the first place. It's fine. You didn't know. Now you do. There was a lot of not knowing for her in you, but you didn't recognize the tone of your mom was using on Tamarack. A low voice with extra emphasized blend of words. It meant, I'm not mad this time because it wouldn't happen again. Isn't that right? Jesus, this sounds like how my mama would talk. Tamara gave a tiny nod, stretching the striped sleeve all the way past the tip of her fingers on her free hand. The conversation had been dominated by Tamarack, but still hanging around was the boys' club. You could hear everything said about your family, and you tried to figure out their reaction. Autumn was still besides, shifting a narrow gaze between the friend on the left and the one on the right. Suddenly, he seemed like the teacher of the classroom, keeping a stern eye on the students for any sign of trouble. The two of them were on their best behavior, and quiet with a blank face. When Autumn realized you were watching, he became a regular old Autumn again and grinning wide. You felt a little better. He wouldn't let anyone say stuff about that. Well, it's good to meet you, Tamarack. I dropped Tamarack's jaw, and she was certainly she hadn't said her name yet. Did you do it?
Yeah.
High five. I told you you could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We unlock 8.
You unlock 8? Okay, cool. Go keep going. Go keep doing it.
Let's see doing special stage.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
My little one is playing Sonic, and he was frustrated earlier. All right, bet. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
It's
I told you you could
do
it. That dropped Tamarack's jaw. She was certain she hadn't said her name yet. You knew me? Not for sure, but I thought you looked like you were our neighbor Tamarack. Now bashful Tamarack hid her face with her hands. All right, guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and cut it here. So we finally know his name. His name is Baxter, and our mom came up to the school and she's meeting our friend. So this is a cute point to stop. I'm really loving this game. I can't wait till the full game comes out because I'm gonna definitely finish it. And I'm gonna play their other game too. I know it's Our Life. It's either Everything and Always. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I have to go back and check. Actually, let me check real quick. Let me check.
Oh, well, he might get nerfed, honestly. I'm hoping not. I know they got patch notes coming out tomorrow. I hope he get nerfed tomorrow. Him and Yoshi.
Oh, it's called Our Life Beginning and Always. And don't mind my partner in the back. He's streaming. But I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.